What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Young Pastey. Back again, breaking down UFC Fight Night Hernandez versus Pereira, going down at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Going down this Saturday, October 19th, 2024. Anthony Hernandez, Mr. Wrestler Boy, versus Michael Pereira, Mr. Crazy Highlight Reel Man, super experienced too. This Fight Night card is alright. It's okay. I'm super excited for UFC 308, which is the Saturday after this. But that doesn't mean we just skip this card. Alright, I'm giving you all of my predictions, all of my picks, and at the end of the show, you'll get all of the bets for free. Alright? So let's break down all of these fights. But before we do that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, follow, do everything you can to support your boy on the channel. Secondly, I got to break down the last card really quick. Alright? Which, pick-wise, 10-3? Not too shabby, guys. 10-3, not too shabby. But when it comes to the bets, we lost minus 0.1305 units. A tenth of a unit, basically. If Tyra would have came through, boy, we would have had a great night. We would have been up 3 units. So that Tyra fight really, man, he got so tired. He got so gassed. I didn't think that he was going to get gassed that bad. And Royval looked pretty good, right? But I don't want to see Royval take on fucking Pantoja again. I know Pantoja has this championship fight up in December, but like he's fighting some, I don't know how this other dude got a championship fight without even taking any fights in the UFC. It's crazy. But anyway, let's break down every single fight on the last card really quick, just to recap everything, and then we'll move on to the picks in this card. First, Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. Man, I nailed that pick. Clayton Carpenter did everything that I said he was going to do. Next, Dan Argueta versus Cody Haddon. As I told you guys, Dan Argueta suspect. Cody Haddon looked amazing. Next fight, Chris Barnett, man, had to pull out of the fight because of the hurricane. So some dude named Sean Sheriff came in, and it was honestly an ultimate fade on Junior Tafa. If you follow my Twitter, I picked Sean Sheriff, and he lost. That fight was awful. Man, they got tired so damn quick. Next fight, Temba Garimbo versus Nico Price. Garimbo took care of business. Next fight, Jonathan Pierce versus Pat Sabatini. Yeah, Jonathan Pierce got subbed. He just looked bad. Next fight, CJ Vergara versus Ramazan Tamirov. Tamirov looked amazing. Hey, the OV always comes through. Next fight, Chitty Bang Bang versus Jared Gooden. Bang Bang looked good, man. He looked really good. Won the fight too. Next fight, Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morano. Woof. Cha-ching. More money on that one. Got that one right. Alex Morano gassed in the second and third, as usual. Next fight, Julia Pilastri versus Corey McKenna. Hey, Pilastri looked really damn good. I'm going to give it to her. And she won the fight. Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. Another check mark, another green one in our book. Grant Dawson took care of business, man. He looked amazing. Jun Young Park versus Brad Tavares. Hey, Jun Young Park took care of business too. And then we went over the Tatsura Tyra fight. He just gassed. But I'll give him credit. He looked pretty good when he was on the ground. Elite wrestling. Anywho, we move on to the next card. Hey guys, we got some underdogs. I'm gonna pick this card. We got some really good bets at the end of this. We're gonna have a good night. All right, we keep going green on the picks. And when it comes to the bets, we're up and down, up and down. We're not losing a lot. We're not making a lot. But tonight, not tonight, this Saturday, all right, we're making some cash. Now, let's start the card off with Austin Lane, a.k.a. no nickname, versus Robelis de Spain, the big boy. Austin Lane, pretty huge underdog at plus 340. Might be the biggest underdog on the card. Robelis de Spain can be had for minus 475 now. He's been creeping up, dude. When I wrote this down on my notes, he was minus 400. So, my pick for the fight. We got the big boy, Robelis de Spain. Now, He looked really bad his last fight when they got taken down. I mean, he lasted the fight with Waldo Cortez, I don't know. Everyone thought he was going to get a knockout. It just didn't happen. And he got bodied on the ground for 3 rounds. But Austin Lane is not some elite grappler, right? He's very chinny. People say, oh, he came from the NFL. He used to play in the NFL. He's got all this athleticism and experience. Look, when he gets in the octagon, I'm sorry, Austin Lane, but everybody, I just don't think you're cut out for the UFC, brother. Okay? I'm sorry. Robel is sustained by KO, all right? If Austin Lane does somehow get this to the ground, I would hope Robellis has been working on his wrestling since he knows that's his super weak point. Don't worry about the ages here, guys. Heavyweights have a longer span when it comes to fighting careers, so I'm not worried about them being old. But Austin Lane's very chinny. Robellis has power. We're going to see a knockout here, guys. Maybe second round. Maybe you could see Austin Lane getting some wrestling success in the first round, but where do people start? At the beginning of every single round, they start on their feet. So Austin Lane's not an elite grappler. Robellis is about to get a KO on this dude. We move on to the next fight. We got Melissa Martinez, a.k.a. Super Melly, versus Alice Ardeline. Martinez can be had for -150. Ardeline can be had for +125. Both of these girls only have one fight in the UFC. Martinez ended up going against Elise Reed, who you can actually see right up here. She's fighting on the card tonight too. Lost to her. And Alice Ardeline also lost her UFC debut to Shauna Bannon by split. And Shauna Bannon's good. I think she's pretty good. So that's a respectable loss here. Now, but when it comes to this fight, these girls are tiny. I mean, look at this. They're barely over 100 pounds. It's crazy. My pick for the fight's going to be Alice Ardeline. Melissa Martinez is a good striker, but I don't think she has any power in her strikes. There's a 4-inch reach advantage here, but I'm not really too worried about it. I think Alice will be able to close the distance. If the fight does get on the ground for some reason at all, Alice has the advantage right there. I mean, it's a coin flip with these women's fights sometimes, right? And I mean, look at the odds. Almost, I bet you it'll come damn near even by the time the fight actually starts. So I'm gonna take the dog here. I'm gonna take Alice Ardeline. Give me the plus money. Give me the underdog. I think they're barking tonight. We got a bunch of underdogs here that I think are barking. But Alice Ardeline is the pick. I don't think Melissa Martinez has enough power in her strikes. She may get volume, but she's going to have a lot of misses. I think Alice can close the distance, get the more powerful strikes. And look, you can even see it in this picture. Her legs and her thighs are 2 times the size of Melissa's. So Alice is a lot bigger than Martinez. So you'll see it in the octagon. You'll see it in the results. We got Alice. I'd say split decision because some fuckery's been going on in the judging lately. Next fight on the card, we got Jessica Penne versus Elise Reed. Now look, I know Elise Reed beat Melissa Martinez, but I don't put any humph into that, all right? Elise Reed's garbage. She's not very good. Striking, subpar. Wrestling, meh. She usually gets bodied on the ground if it ever goes there. But I'm still picking her for this fight. You know why? This other girl's 41 years old. And I've looked at her fight history, man. Not the greatest, to say the least, okay? I would not bet on this fight. I ain't betting on this fight. I had to make a pick because I'm doing the breakdown of every single one. Another coin flip. I mean, look at their significant strikes landed. Oh, I thought that was per round. I was like, damn, 2 strikes per round. What's going on with these girls? Per minute. I mean, still, 2 strikes a minute. 2 punches a minute. Not very good. We're taking the 10-year-old. Not the... The fighter that's 10 years younger than Jessica Pena. Penne? Noodles. That should have been her nickname. Anyway, over 2.5 rounds for both these fights might be a good little parlay for you guys to put in. I don't know. I don't put too much thought or interest or entertain this fight too much. I had to make a pick. Elise reads the pick. Going with the younger fighter. Next fight on the card. Third women's fight in a row? Okay. We got Jocelyn Edwards versus Tamirez Vidal. La Pantera versus Tractor. Tamirez Tractor Vidal. I mean, such a weird... Some of these goofy nicknames in the UFC are crazy. Pick for the fight. We got Jocelyn Edwards. All I can remember is an image of Vidal on her back doing that stupid BJJ, like, come here on the ground and wrestle me. Super fucking wimpy. Wouldn't get up, and then when she got up, was getting her ass beat. Jocelyn Edwards is a great striker. And if it gets to the ground, if Vidal's shooting for takedowns, which she might, I don't really think so, though. Jocelyn Edwards is bigger, bulkier, lengthier, and I think she can keep her on the ground. But this is not their ground game. I anticipate this to just kind of be a kickboxing match. And if that's the case, Jocelyn Edwards all day. The minus 240 is justified. Vidal by knockout if you are a wild degenerate. I would never see that coming, though. We got La Pantera. Give me Edwards. She's off two losses. She needs to get back in the win column. This is where she does it. All right, next fight. Brad Superman Katona versus Gene Matsumoto. Katona can be had for plus 215. Matsumoto at minus 265. We got two wrestlers here, guys. Two wrestlers. Pretty elite wrestlers. But I got Matsumoto. I got the Brazilian. You guys know I like my Brazilians, okay? There's just something different about him. Give me the Brazilian prospect. And still undefeated. Give me a 16-0 on that record. Reach advantage. And look, yes, I told you, they're both wrestlers. Katona's more of a wrestler, like I'd say United States kind of wrestler, like you do in high school and shit. Matsumoto has everything. He's very crafty on the ground. This is where this fight's going to go. I think Matsumoto by sub is live, or a Matsumoto by a kind of ground and pound KO. Honestly, I'm leaning more towards sub. But we got Matsumoto with confidence. Okay? Dude's ripped. Dude's a prospect. Dude's elite. Dude's Brazilian. That's more than 3 reasons. Give me Matsumoto. Minus 265. Meh. I prefer a better line, but it is what it is. All right. We got the main event of the prelims. That sounded weird. The featured fight of the prelims. We got Matthias Nicolau versus Asu Almabayev. A plus 160 for Nicolau. Minus 190. Almost 2-1 favorite for Asu. Asu's a crazy wrestler from Kazakhstan. He's not an OV, but he's an EV. Right? And if you put those on the scale, OV's right here, EV's right here. What I'm saying right now is the last 2 letters of their last names, right? Usually if it ends in OV, they're a fucking stud. If it ends in EV, they're, like Makhachev, Islam Makhachev, right? Usually the OVs are better, but he's up there. He's really the only EV that tops OVs. What am I saying here? Anyway, Asu is going to get this fight to the ground and keep it there. Not a pray and lay, but enough to keep it on the, keep the ref from standing him back up. And if he stands him back up, that's just going to go straight back to the ground again. Nicolau's live for knockout. Nicolau's also live for crafty, tricky submissions on the ground. I love my Brazilians, right? I got a thing for Brazilians, but Asu's different, man. Undefeated in the UFC. I believe. Let me fact check myself. Correct. He's getting the win here. By decision or by sub. We got Asu Amabayev. Give me my boy. Oh, nickname? Zulfikar. Alright, that shit just sounds evil and intimidating. Asu Zulfikar Amabayev. I'm sorry, Nicolau. I am kind of a fan of you. I bet on you on other fights. You have came through. You're live for KO for submission. Right? So guys, don't doubt Nicolau's talent or power. He is a pretty good striker. If it's on the feet, I give him the advantage. That reach advantage, like look, the reach 66, 65, he is a lot more lankier than you. Lengthier, both, than you think. And he's crafty on the ground. Right? But we got Asu. We move on. First fight of the main card. We got two oldies. Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. Elkins. The damage? Okay, I like it. Darren the damage Elkins. Okay. Versus Daniel the Pit Pineda. The pit? Like armpit? Or like you're going to fall into a pit? Or like Pineda's career is about to fall into the pit with this loss he's about to get. We got old man Elkins. Give me Darren Elkins in this fight. Bro, Pineda got kicked out of the UFC, came back, and his performance since he's came back has been awful. I don't know how this dude's still in the UFC. I guess they just need people to put on the fights like this. Stupid fight cards like this. I don't know, man. We got Darren Elkins. I think he's better on the ground than Pineda is. Any of these props are degenerate props to touch on this fucking fight. Be crazy to do it. Honestly, under 2.5 rounds might be a play. Might be at plus money too. I don't know. But we got the damage. We got old man Elkins. The reason being, I told you, Pineda sucks. And when this fight gets to the ground, which Elkins is pretty good at shooting takedowns, he'll get this shit to the ground. Watch out for a sub. Elkins by sub. For you crazy fucks. Elkins is the pick, okay? Next fight. We got Brady Bam Bam Highstand versus Jake the White Kong Hadley. Bam Bam can be had for minus 150. White Kong for plus 125. Now, generally, anybody with some sort of white in their nickname, I'm usually going against them because you're going to disrespect me? Huh? You're going to disrespect the paste? But we got Jake Hadley in this fight. People are sleeping on Jake Hadley. He's a really nice striker, and people are sleeping on his ground game, okay? He's got a lot of wins by submission, actually. I mean, his ground game is not where he usually ends up going, but I think he's got a good enough get-up game to get this shit back up. This Brady Highstand guy, striking, mid. Mid at best. I mean, he's a pressure wrestler. He's trying to get this shit to the ground. He's going for ground and pound. His last fight, very lucky. First Garrett Armfield. Armfield was teeing him up for the first 2 rounds till he got that sub. You're giving me Hadley as a dog? Well, we think Highstand's just going to keep him on the ground and lay there the whole fight? Think Hadley's just going to sit there and submit, pull guard, and, let this other guy beat up on him and kiss him? What the fuck are we doing here? No. All right? Hadley's getting back up. He's moving his way to the fence. If it even does get to the ground, he's got a pretty good takedown defense, too. Okay? Hadley by knockout. 3rd round knockout. Ooh. Hadley by 3rd round knockout. Be crazy. I think the fight goes the full 3 rounds. I think Hadley strikes and tees him up and keeps him on the feet. And High Stand really won't know what to do and won't have an answer. Hadley's a good underdog play for this card. Jake Hadley's the pick. We move on to this fucking fight. Next fight, dude. All right, we got Charles Johnson, the Inner G, versus Sumu Deraji, a.k.a. the Tibetan Eagle. Charles Johnson over 2-1 favorite, minus 235. Sumu can be had for plus 190. I'm just going to call him Sumu. Hopefully that's not disrespectful. I have faded Charles Johnson for years. And for years, this guy just keeps taking money from my fucking wallet. Last 3 times he was an underdog, he's cashed. Now, this last stoppage versus Van was super early. I didn't agree with it. He was getting fucking beat up for the first 2 rounds. But this dude always finds a way to win. Super good strike. He's really good striking. Really good striking. He doesn't have the reach advantage in this. I haven't seen enough of Sumu for him to convince me that he's going to beat Charles Johnson. And honestly, it's more of a testament to Johnson at this point. Like, I have to pick him. If he fucks me over on this, I don't think I'll ever bet on a Charles Johnson, or pick a Charles Johnson fight again. I'll probably just skip it. Null and void on the picks. We got the Inner G. Charles Johnson by knockout or decision. Ugh. I didn't like that. Didn't like that at all, guys. Yuck. All right, next fight. We got old man Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips, the Matrix. All right. Rob Font, huge underdog, plus 315. Second biggest underdog on the card. Kyler Phillips can be had for minus 425. Another case of old man declining, young man rising. All right, Kyler Phillips is in his prime. He's on a roll. He's a wrestling, I don't want to say god, not wrestling god, a wrestling freak. Okay? Look, Rob Font is live for knockout. It's crazy to sound, or crazy to say, even at 37, but Rob Font is live for the knockout. But what do I see this fight end up being? Kyler Phillips is going to get this shit to the ground by sub or by ground and pound. It's going to be, I think, it's going to be a boring fight to me. I think this is a lackluster co-main event, but Kyler Phillips needs the notable win over the vet to kind of move his way up. So I think the UFC's kind of, it's not a layup, right? It's not a layup. I'd say it's, more of like a mid-range jump shot, something attainable, but he could miss, right? But we got the Matrix in this fight. And we move on to the next one. Last fight on the card. Anthony Hernandez, a.k.a. Fluffy, versus Michael Pereira, a.k.a. the Demolitor. If you think I'm not picking Michael Pereira, you are crazy. Give me the wild man, Michael Pereira. He's going to do some crazy shit and end up knocking out or submitting Hernandez. I have no idea how it's going to happen because he does something fucking wild and crazy every single time. This dude did a backflip knee onto somebody on the ground. That shit is crazy. Almost cost him the fight. Almost got him DQ'd. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. Anthony Hernandez, wrestling man. He's trying to get this shit to the ground. It's a 5-round fight. Michael Pereira may get gassed. And if Hernandez can survive the first 2 rounds of craziness, he probably has this fight, I'm not going to lie. But I'm banking on Pereira to do something wild and crazy like he usually does in the first round or 2. He can go 3 rounds, but 5 rounds, those championship rounds, round 4 and 5, I'm going to have to hand it to Hernandez. I think he has a better cardio. Hernandez by decision is something live. If you're trying to kind of hedge your bet with a Michael Pereira money line or prop. But anywho, Michael Pereira is the pick. He's going to do something wild and crazy. As always. It always fucking happens. So those are all the picks. All right, how many fights are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. This is kind of a small card. Only 11 fights. They may add a fight or two. You never know. But we'll recap the picks and we'll move on to the bets, guys. Everyone's favorite section. The bets. The bets. Picks. We got Despain. We got Ardeline. We got Reed. We got Edwards. Matsumoto. Almabayev. Elkins. Hadley. Johnson. Phillips. And Pereira. So there are the picks. Take it in, take it in. We move on to the bets section, everyone's favorite section where we make money. We're making money this week, guys. Okay? These last 2 weeks, I'm not too mad about it. Our losses were kept to a minimal. But I must say, we've gotten screwed over a couple of times. The Tyra fight screwed us. Last pay-per-view, I don't even want to talk about it, all those shitty split decisions, but we're here and we're making bets and we stay consistent with this shit and we're going to overtake the books, guys. All right? It's money time. Matsumoto and Johnson. We're throwing 1 unit on it. We got it for plus 102. Plus money for 2 confident picks. I can't go wrong. I love the 2 pick parlays on confident favorites. Next fight. Next pick. We got Hadley, guys. We're throwing a unit on it too. We're throwing a unit on the dog at plus 130. I have a lot of plus money bets on this fight night card. So, honestly, we only need like 3 or 4 of them to come through for us. Now, I'm taking it easy on the betting on this fight night because it's lackluster. The fights kind of suck. We all know UFC 308 is going to be lit. We all know we're going to go heavy on that one. So, let's not break the bank on a shitty card, right? We'll try and do it on an entertaining night. Next bet. We got Despain and Edwards. We're throwing half a unit on it. We got it at minus 141. It is a little juicy. This is my most juiciest bet. But again, 2 confident picks. Despain should win. Edwards should win. My should win parlay. Next fight. Told you. The dogs are barking tonight, guys. The dogs are barking on this card. Elkins, half a unit, plus 114. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give me all this plus money. We got Pereira too. Half a unit. Plus 114. ESPN said well, plus 125, but this line's been going down and down and down. Honestly, by fight time, I bet you Pereira's a favorite. So get this shit in now, guys. Or he'd probably just be an even money. Plus 100 or minus 115 on each side. Next bet. Another dog, Ardeline, half a unit at plus 130. And my last bet, we got a Phillips plus Asu parlay, Almabayev. Minus 115, oh, half a unit. Put the little space there because these are the half unit plays. So these are all my bets. Pick and choose. We'll roll with all of them. It doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is seeing green check marks on all of these post fight night time. So if you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. I hope you appreciated the breakdowns, the picks, and the bets here. We did great last week on the picks. We almost killed it on the bets. We were this close. But we're doing it tonight, okay? Tonight. We're doing it Saturday night. We are going balls to the wall and taking the books money. So, again, thanks for the support. YP out of this bitch.